This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
It sure is that time. It's the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95 Radio. We are here and we are live in the heart of Sharjah, doing it big as usual. Now, on the show today, a fantastic guest and a personal friend of mine who's going to be shedding the knowledge on nutrition, sustainability, what it's like to be a good consultant, and also how to meal prep. If ever you wanted to know how to meal prep, this is the guy we need to ask. And he's here and he's live on the show. Chef Victor Urbina is doing his thing big on the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio. So make sure you go back, grab your water, grab your drinks, get ready. And the next hour is all yours on the only place to be at 3, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Sure is that time. And you know when it's that time, it's 3 to 4, the Halftime Show on Pulse 95 Radio with your boy Omar Adori. And a special guest in the show today is Chef Victor Urbina. Yeah! What's up, man? How you doing?
Hi, brother. How are you?
I'm good. It's great to have you here. I also heard the rumor you might be with us in Eid as well, which is not confirmed. But hey, listen, we like speculating here. So to have you twice
yes.
in the same month is fantastic. Can't wait.
Thank you very much.
Can't wait to have you here. What a legend. Okay, Chef Victor, we got to ask you a couple of things now. This isn't your first time. We're on the hat trick of shows for you, which means you're definitely good at what you do. The buzzword at the moment is sustainability, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about this word before we dive into it? I'm very interested. Talk to me.
So thank you for having me on the show. The way I simplify it is to do the right thinking before the right action. Mm-hmm. And what does that mean is, in order to be more sustainable, you can start from simple actions, as in buying locally, mm-hmm. for instance, buying seasonal, mm-hmm. And then planning your meals or your menu in a way where you can use the same ingredients across those dishes.
Right.
And even the wastage or / bioproduct, you can also reuse them on base, on pickle base, on vinegar base. You can start and learn how to make your own little compost. So you can put it on your plants, mm-hmm. or in the garden. And in that way, create the habit how to, instead of throwing the seeds from the peppers and everything, just throw it in your pots, and it'll grow a small plant, and then
right.
you'll have the feeling that you're growing something, you know. And just those little things and small steps will help you to become more sustainable.
Yeah, and see, sustainability goes a long way. It's not just obviously in food. But the reason why I ask that, because you specialize in that kind of stuff, it's one of those things where you're recycling, you're resaving, you're regrowing. There's so many of these words that make sustainability.
And the reason behind is because there's bacteria on everything. So it means if there is sugar and oxygen, it'll keep growing anyway. Mm-hmm. So we might as well take advantage of this process, which is granted by nature.
Yes.
So if we take advantage of this, we might end up with good products to enhance our guts, our bacteria, our good bacteria for our digestive system, and so on.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, and you took the words out of my mouth. When people heard bacteria, normally they go, no, bacteria, but there's also good bacteria.
Yes, and it's actually the best friend you can have in your body, just because by having a good digestion, you can have, believe it or not, a much better and cleaner thought process, and you deal with your emotions in an easier way.
Absolutely. And one of the things we also talk about here on the Halftime Show is your gut health, which is the second brain. How important is it to get the gut health going?
Correct. Yeah, very important, because this is how all your decisions process will take place if you start from the right nutrition. So if you indulge yourself too much, obviously if you encounter a challenge, the thought process behind your decision won't be the same as someone who take care of their hydration levels and eat more fibers and protein, for instance.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Food for the soul and the brain and the mind. Love it.
Yes, for everything. Even help you to sleep if you eat the right amount of fiber, protein, and carbs as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, excellent. There's a lot of clarity in the right foods to eat, which then help with your sleep.
correct.
Yeah, and is there a certain kind of window that you need to try and stop eating, let's say, to allow the body to digest those foods?
Yeah. So I'm talking from personal experience. Me myself, I'm on the protocol of 16 to 18 hours intermittent fasting.
Right.
And it's done wonderful on my body, on my mind, and on my emotions as well.
Yeah.
And as you said, we should allow our body to work with the less fuel possible in order to detox ourselves in the same process.
Yes.
But then when we choose to put fuel in our body, we have to make sure that that's the best fuel for our engine. So
And again, you've mentioned some key words there, engine. Our body is often metaphorically looked at like a car.
yeah.
And having the right
And it's
fuel in
more,
there.
it's actually more like a cruise ship. You know, cruise ships, they never stop the engine. They're always with the engine on. And the reason behind, because they use the cleanest and one of the purest gas on the planet. And that's why.
Yes.
So the body is always on, even when we're sleeping.
Yes.
So if we put the right fuel, chances are all the process is going to be a much better process.
Yes.
So
Wow. Segment one done and done. You know what? Can we get a... Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying. And that was only the only first segment. So let's get back to it straight after the break on the only place to be at 3, the halftime show on Pulse 95.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
Is that time? And if you're here, lucky enough to be tuning in on the Instagram live while we are on air, you get to see everything that happens behind the scenes with our guest, Chef Victor Urbina, who's here, and he was jamming to the tunes. By the way, that track was Salamu Alaikum by The Real SQ, who's actually an Emirati producer who someone reached out to me and said, could you get him to play on radio? And actually, I was very, very lucky to meet him and play this song after I met him, actually, which was great. Chef Victor Urbina, what's going on? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, brother. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. We were talking about the buzzword sustainability in the first segment. And actually, there's a question here from Ali Mack who was asking, how long before sleeping should you stop eating?
That's a very good question. Remember, we humans are divided in parasympathetic system and sympathetic system.
Yeah.
So not everyone is the same.
Correct.
For those who are sympathetic system, I believe they should eat 4 to 5 hours before, and the parasympathetic system could eat even closer to bed, just because they have higher metabolism and they can burn the food quicker.
Yeah.
But a good amount of time should be honestly 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
So the food is being digested, you're light,
Yeah.
and if you throw like a hot tea or hot beverage with no sugar just to go to sleep, that also helps all the digestive system, actually the detox system, to work better throughout the night.
I like that. I
Because
like
that's
that.
what the body does while we're resting. It's all the cleaning system from the body start working while we're resting, and they take all the trash out and detoxify ourselves and everything. So in the next morning, we can start a new day.
Amazing. Special shout out to Nate, who's tuned in from the US, and of course the professional boxer Frank, who's also saying, I won't repeat what he said, but shout out to Frank as well. Chef, I gotta ask you, as a food consultant and one of the best out there, right? There's a lot of people that are getting confused with making the right choices for food. Okay, because you design menus and you consult and you do all these things, what should the customer be looking out for when they make the right food choices, when they're selecting something off a menu, for example?
Yeah. Okay, so maybe I could give two answers. One, let's say from a business or corporative point of view.
Yeah.
You should always, as a customer, should look for value for money.
Right.
Maybe an item, it's let's say expensive, or it has a high price ticket,
Okay.
but it's a nice cut, for example, or if it's an item that it comes from abroad and it's a unique item, then you should go for the experience of that.
Okay.
But if you go out regularly,
Yeah.
what you should focus is on food that is whole food, like
Yes.
less processed, not so much sauce on it. And just let the ingredient be the protagonist of the dish rather than components around, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. And for those people who probably would want to know more about it but don't have the privilege of studying it like you do, what are the things that they should be avoiding when looking at menus?
Okay, so this is gonna hurt a lot to so many restaurants, but you should definitely avoid fried food.
Okay.
By all means. And the reason behind it's because even though in Dubai the hygiene and food standard are super high, it's still they use these oils over and over through the days,
Yeah.
and it's not healthy at all
Right.
to eat fried stuff from this oil while being used from the day before, or
Yeah.
even through the same day, on and off. So avoid fried stuff. I know it's the most delicious ones,
Yeah.
but those can be pretty damaging.
Okay,
so.
okay. There's there's a couple of things here which we're looking at with the questions that are popping up. One thing is, what's your take on menus that don't necessarily have calories on there? You know, sometimes now, a lot of the trend now is knowing how many calories you're having in a
Yeah.
dish. What's your take on that at the moment?
So calorie is tricky. It's not necessarily super accurate. It can show you a direction, but not the right direction. The right direction will always be macronutrients.
Right.
So when you look at your macros, how much content of protein, carbs, fiber, and good fat are you taking on daily basis, then you're on the right track.
Okay.
So menus without calorie counting could be tricky because you don't know exactly what's inside. Although some of the one that has calories, they don't really mention the whole truth.
Right.
And I'm very known to put this subject out there, but that's the truth. But still, you have a reference, and you can, play around your daily intake to have what you want throughout the day.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
Have you ever heard of if it fits your macros? Have you ever heard of that? The IIF something. If it fits your macros kind of model, which is people are saying that you can eat whatever you want as long as it fits your macros.
As long as it fits your macros, yes.
So you're a big fan of that?
Yeah, not a big fan. It's science. But if you do it from the calorie point of view, you can train and have an incredible session and a very good day and have half of a chic cheesecake, and you'll be sorted for the day.
Yeah.
But that's not the best fuel that you can put in your body.
Very
right?
good.
But
Very
you're still
good.
doing your calories right. So, and that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
By jumping into the macros, then you necessarily need animal or non-animal protein.
Yes.
You got your fiber, you got carbs, you good fats, and you're good to go.
Yeah, excellent. We got Sophia Qureshi here asking, what are the healthiest carbs you could eat?
Healthiest carbs. I would say everything that come from earth. Roots, for instance.
Yeah.
All type of potatoes, all type of roots, rabi, tapioca, yams, plantain could be, a lot of stuff. And try to avoid as much as you can ultra processed carbs like refined pastas.
Yes.
And white rice, even though I'm like a big fan of it.
Yes.
But if you take it with measure, you should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Roots, hangout, salad dishes. I mean, there's so many things here I could talk about today on the Halftime Show. But you know what? Let's keep you guessing. And instead of that, let's appreciate things and enjoy our blessings.
This is the Halftime Show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
That time, and we're having a good time here on the Halftime Show. If you remember this bed in the background, then you know you're from my era, because Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai was just filthy. That was, in a good way, of course, but it was just great. What a track. Chef Victor Urbina is in the building. What's up, Chef?
Yeah. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing very good. We talked about sustainability in the first segment. We talked about food that you want to include and avoid in the second one. What a show so far. By the way, if you missed the show, you can head over to our podcast, Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, or if you prefer a visual, head over to the YouTube channel, Pulse 95 Radio. We are live on the cameras right now, and you can see the man himself, Chef Victor Urbina, who's here in the background. We're talking all about nutrition, food, consulting, sustainability. And next up is another big term we hear is meal prep.
Yeah.
Meal prep is massive. By the way, shout out to my mom as well, Fatima. Probably my only fan. But she doesn't miss a show, and she's telling me now I'm listening to your show. So shout out to my mom. Meal prep, chef. What's the right way to meal prep?
The right way to meal prep, it's right planning.
Okay.
So if you plan ahead based on your macros daily intake, then you know how much you need to buy.
So can I stop you there?
Yeah.
How do you calculate your macros?
So these days is very easy.
Yeah.
You can Google a formula. What's the
Calculator?
formula? Yeah.
Yeah.
Calculator to get your macros. So it will ask you your age, your height, your weight, your intensity of training, and you put all this data there, and it will come with your calories intake.
Oh, nice.
And that calorie intake is broken into macros.
Okay.
So it will tell you how many grams of protein you should get on a daily basis.
Yeah.
That's not necessarily the weight of serving,
Right.
which is two different things.
Correct.
Right? For instance, 100 grams of cooked chicken breast has 20 grams of protein.
Correct.
So if you need 75 grams of protein daily, it means you need to have 300 grams of cooked chicken breast on a daily basis.
Yes, because by the time you cook it, obviously it's different by the time you weigh it.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
So that's why if you plan it right from the very beginning, it's going to be very easy, because then you know the amount of food that you need to prepare, marinate, cooked, and everything. So
And if you're not a professional,
yeah,
right? If you're not a professional,
Yeah.
and you want to learn how to meal prep, how long should you allow in your day to meal prep your food to get you set,
yeah.
so you don't have to stop off at any gas station?
Yeah. So I have a friend. I used to help her with this planning long time ago. So what we used to do is on Sunday, for example, we allocate, let's say, 1 hour, half an hour on the ingredients that you like to eat and the ingredients that are good for you. And then you make a market list, and then you go to the supermarket and get them and come back. Nowadays it's easier because you can just order them.
Yeah.
But calculate in that 1 hour, 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
Just on planning and purchasing, right?
Okay, yeah.
Cooking time, you should be able to marinate, cooked and portion for, let's say, 3 days. For one person, 3 meals per day. Let's say 2.5 to 3 hours, including cleaning. Very important.
Yeah, yeah.
And the rest is just portioning and making sure that you garnish the food as you like, so you will actually will be willing to eat it.
Yes.
So from 5 to 6 hours on a Sunday, you could be sorted for the next 3 or even 4 days.
Okay.
For a week. So it's worth.
Okay.
You know?
So you dedicate that time during a weekend to set up for the next 3-4 days?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
It seems at the beginning, it seems like long time.
Yeah.
But once you get used to the process, and then the planning will be shorter. Okay. The buying will be shorter, even though you buy in the same amount. And then the cooking, as you get familiar, will also be shorter, you know, because you will get smarter and you will get to infuse and try different flavors.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people, especially here, that are throwing messages in, are saying, what about time? What about money? Things are so expensive these days. How do you counter that? Like, how do you make the smartest choices in getting the right food without basically costing an arm and a leg?
Well, there are actually few ways to hack this.
Okay.
Especially in Dubai these days.
Yeah.
Where even industrial food supplier have opened a portal where any customer can order online.
Okay.
So now you can get
Straight from the farm?
Straight from the farm.
Yeah.
Straight from the suppliers.
Right.
And straight from the producers.
Amazing.
You know?
Amazing. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So you can even DM if you're doing through to Instagram, otherwise websites and stuff like that, you can get the same items at the same price that the restaurants are getting it.
Okay.
They even deliver to your house.
Amazing.
So now, honestly, at this point in a city like Dubai or in a country like UAE, there's no excuse if you want to execute meal plan, basic, medium, or even in an advanced way.
Love that.
So, yeah.
Love that. That's great. Okay. And for that, what would you say, Chef, to the people that live a very, very busy lifestyle, right? And they're always going to come up with something. And I know you said about planning is super important. That's why I love that you started off with that.
Yeah.
For those people that, for example, are on the go a lot, like they might be traveling all day, they might be in the car all day and they can't sustain that. Are there any things they can do to work around that?
Yes. And those are very tricky scenarios, especially those who travels a lot.
Yeah.
Okay? Because then what I would advise is to go deeper into knowledge and information. So when it comes the time for you to choose the food that you're gonna put in your body, your choice is very assertive. You know, like it's very accurate because you know exactly what you're putting in your body.
Yeah.
So not necessarily, there is only mac and cheese on the menu. So no, just go and get and ask for the steak or for a vegan protein or anything, and then order a side of veggies instead of a side of fries.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I would advise.
Okay.
And for those who also are very busy on daily basis, one of the hacks is to no micro portion, but do a smaller portion than a normal meal that you can actually have in the car or between meetings, you know, and then still you're not hungry and still getting your macros in.
Amazing. Right, God, what a show, man. What a show. Right, let's take a quick break. I'm going to play you some Pana now because I'm kind of in that mood. And then once we get back, we're diving more with Chef Victor Urbina.
This is the halftime show with Omar Adori on Pulse 95.
What is that time? We're having a good time here on the halftime show. Shout out to everyone who's tuned in around the world, whether it's 95 FM, Pulse95Radio.com, our app, Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, or if you're chilling at home, watching us live on YouTube. Thank you very much for spending your hour with me today. And not just you, but also Chef Victor Urbina is in the building. So thank you very much, Chef, for being here with me, man.
Thank you for having me, hermano Omar.
What a great show, man.
Yes.
We had fun today.
Yes, actually, yes.
You know, I think the hat trick must be probably my favorite out of the three shows.
Nice.
And you've been here now a couple of times. You're almost like a resident now, man. You know, that's part of the fixture.
That's one of the perks.
Yes, whenever it comes down to like nutrition and things that are very important to the halftime show, I always turn to you for that.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. And the fact that this is the best one out of all the other three.
Yeah. We keep growing, we keep evolving, and as you try things on yourself and select what works for you and does not work for you and keep moving forward, I think that's one of the best things to do, and that's what I've been doing since the first show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm very happy and content with my path and my journey, and I love to share my knowledge.
Yes.
I think it's maybe even if just one person can make good use of this information. I'll be happy. Yeah.
So, awesome. There's a lot of things. What's going on for you at the moment now? You got quite a few things happening.
Yes. So I'm running my own meal plan company, which is called B Meal Plan. That is keeping me busy.
Yeah.
And then some consultation as well from the sustainable point of view.
Yeah.
I have one surprise coming up soon. I'm working on a bacteria drink that I will trying to make commercial to eradicate sodas once for all. Yes, it's a fermented natural soda made out of kefir bacteria, and I've been working on this for a long time, and we're kind of mastering the formula on these days. So this is coming very soon.
How important is it to make mistakes to be great?
It's the only way to be great.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because success is only a pause between mistakes. That's what I've read. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. You've always, had a taste for these things. You've always kind of put your head down, focused on what you need to do, kept growing. And I think that's probably one of the best things to come out of you, because you always kind of rectify them.
Yes.
Like it's almost similar to your dishes. Like whenever something doesn't feel right, then you make it right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, as because I turn a lot into nature and the human body, and that's what the human body and nature do. They are perfect, and because of free will and whatever experience or thought form we have, we tend to do not the right thing, but the body and earth keep going back to the right place.
Like that.
And that's when the challenge comes as a human, as a species, and internally it's because we're not following what we're supposed to follow.
Yeah.
If we listen to our body, or if we listen to earth, and then we will struggle less if we actually listen to that. So
I like that.
That's what I do on a daily basis.
Amazing. Where can we follow you, man?
I have a new Instagram account. It's victorurbina.chef. I'm working on a new platform and a new branding image.
Okay.
So there's no post yet, but it's coming soon as well.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. Hats off to you, my man. Thank you very much for today, man.
Thank you very much.
And that is full time on the Halftime Show. Remember, you can catch it every Monday, Wednesday, Saturday, 3 to 4 UAE time. And if you do miss the show, don't worry. Turns into a YouTube channel, just like Pulse 95 Radio do. We do it big. Thanks to Super Mario as well for making those videos happen. Shout out to Ray. Happy birthday to Kay as well, RR's wife. And thank you very much, Chef Victor Urbina.
Thank you for having me.